Hey girlies, it's Augusta. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to get this Elle Woods Legally Blonde inspired makeup look. It's super girly, feminine and pink, and it's perfect for spring or when you just want to mix things up. Make sure to start off with a clean face that is moisturized, of course. Elle loves to wear different hairstyles, but one I have noticed she particularly likes is a curled hair blowout. So I've done some heatless curls and I've also made some tutorials as well, so check those out. Starting off with primer, I'm using the Rare Beauty 4-in-1 Priming Mist. This is such an easy way to make sure your makeup lasts all day and only takes a few seconds. Her base makeup is definitely fair and looks extremely skin-like, but her skin is still flawless. So I'm going to mix together my tinted moisturizer and foundation. This way the makeup will still look really skin-like but will still give me enough coverage to cover up any blemishes. Here I'm mixing together the Supergoop Protectant Tinted Sunscreen in shade 10N and the Max Factor 2-in-1 Serum and Foundation. This foundation is very full coverage, so I'm only using a little dot on each cheek. Blend this together with a damp beauty blender so it looks more skin-like and airy. Don't forget to blend down onto the neck because you want to keep this looking super natural. Then we're going to move on to the eyes. Of course, she's repping pink all the time, so this pink eyeshadow palette from Clear Cosmetics is perfect for this look. I'm starting off with the neutral brown shades and blending this out into my crease to give some depth in my eye. You can use any neutral brown or even use a powder bronzer if you don't have eyeshadow. Next up, take a slightly darker brown shade and keep this focused more towards the outer corner, just so it adds a little bit more depth. Her eye looks tend to be a bit more ashy and smoky, but in a more natural way. Then finally, our matte shade in the center of the eye is going to be this pale pink right here, sweeping it all over the lid. This is going to add a nice pink and cool undertone to the whole eye look and tie together the whole pink aesthetic. Blend this all the way from the lid all the way up to just below the eyebrow. Moving on to shimmery shades, you're going to want to take a more precise brush. I'm using the other side here and this glittery pink shade all over the lid. This is so fitting for the Legally Blonde Elle Woods aesthetic and will add a really nice pink shimmer. Take your brightest eyeshadow shade, or you can even use a powder highlighter in the very center of the corner of the eye, and also add a little bit beneath the outer brow bones. In many of her looks, she's wearing a slightly darker shimmery shade, so I'm taking this shimmery brown shade and sweeping it all over my lid on top. This is going to darken up the look slightly and will really add the finishing touch to the Y2K makeup look aesthetic that she always went for. Make sure to blend all the eyeshadow together, but I'm loving how natural yet glitzy it's turned out so far. She also has a liner, but I'm using a pencil liner rather than a liquid here. This is the Valentino 2-in-1. It's double-sided and I'm using the crayon eyeliner side to draw a natural liner all across the lid, smudging it down and then lightly brushing it up at the side. She doesn't have wings on her eyeliner, but you want to just flick it up at the edge so it drags the eye upwards instead of down. This will make the eyes look more open and accentuated. Then I'm taking a smudger eyeshadow brush and blending in the wings so it looks more natural and not too hard. Elle's makeup is always super feminine and natural and dewy without harsh snatched lines. For concealer, I'm only going to add a small amount of the NARS Pot Concealer just underneath the eye, covering up any eye bags or fallout that we have. And then take your same damp beauty blender and blend this in. You can blend it in an outwards and upwards motion as well here, just to accentuate the eyes again. Of course, blush is going to be central to this look, and I'm matching this peachy pink and this more pale hot pink shade together. Both of these pink shades are going to create the perfect Elle Woods pink and really capture her aesthetic. Of course, I'm drawing them on in little hearts like the blush trend just to make it more fun, and it also applies the perfect amount of product. Elle Woods knew exactly how to romanticize life, so we've got to romanticize the makeup routine as well. Adding a smaller dot of the lighter pink shade just above so that it's a nice ombre brush moment. Then I'm blending this all together with the thicker side of the same Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Complexion brush. Blend your liquid blush in an upwards motion up to the temples of your head. If you apply too much, you can always go over it with a beauty blender. We've got to add a little bit of a highlighted glow, and this Rare Beauty liquid luminizer is perfect. It's going to add a nice shine and a little pink tint with the rose gold undertone, but we don't want to go too intense on the highlighter since she doesn't wear a huge amount, so you just want to apply a really small dot on the cheekbones and blend upwards. Similarly with the bronzer, I'm only adding a small amount of my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer on the cheeks, forehead and jawline. This is just going to give my face a little bit more depth and glow, but you don't want to go too heavy, just keep it super light, and it's also a good way to set the base makeup. Next, take the same bronzer on a smaller eyeshadow brush and you can smudge it just underneath the eyelid to really mirror the eyeshadow that we did on the top of the eye. Then drag it out in an upwards motion just so it gives the effect that a winged eyeliner has without having an actual wing. She has the cutest button nose, so you can contour the nose like I'm doing by putting a U shape by the bridge of the nose. Of course, we've got to add a powder blush on top, and this Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Luminizer is perfect because it has a nice shimmer in the blush and it's exactly the shade that Elle loves to wear. Look how pigmented that pink is, so I'm just applying a small amount on the apples of my cheeks and bridge of the nose. Then you're going to want to make sure all your makeup is really nicely blended, so I'm taking a bigger fluffy brush to blend everything together. We have to set this all in place so it lasts all day, so I'm taking my Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder and a powder puff just to set the under eyes in place. You don't have to bake with a huge amount since we don't want to make the makeup too harsh, but I'm just adding some underneath so that we don't get creasing in our makeup. Her makeup is slightly glowy, but not as glowy as we have the clean girl aesthetic and more recent makeup trends. So I'm not being too sparse with the powder so that it doesn't look overly glowy and the makeup's really set in place. Her lashes are pretty, but they're not the center of the look, so I'm curling my lashes gently and then only applying a light layer of mascara. I'm actually using a brown mascara, the brown version of the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara, and making sure to apply it not clumpy at all, keeping the lashes nice and wispy. Although she does apply mascara on the bottom lashes as well, so don't skip out on those. The Y2K brow aesthetic was very thin and natural, so I've just brushed my eyebrows. I'm not doing anything to make them look bigger at all. Then I'm gonna brush away the excess powder with the same big fluffy brush, and you can make sure everything is blended one last final time so that the makeup looks as skin-like and natural as possible. Of course, we've got to go in with a nude pink lip combo to match the Elle Woods energy. I'm not gonna overline my lips too much since that definitely was not the trend in the 2000s. But I'm still gonna line the edges of my lips and then focus the liner on the corners so that it goes lighter towards the center of my lips, if that makes any sense. That way you can put the lighter shade of lipstick in the center and you'll really see the ombre contrast. For lipstick, I'm going in with the classic Cream Cup from MAC Cosmetics. This is such a cute pink and complements the eyeshadow and blush pink that we've used throughout the makeup look perfectly, really tying in the Legally Blonde aesthetic. Of course, we have to top it off with a lip gloss, and the Rhode Peptide Lip Tint in shade Ribbon is the perfect pink to match this lip combo. It's super nice and naturally shiny, but doesn't look too overboard or overly glossy. Once you've done the lips, you're going to want to set your whole makeup look in place so it lasts as long as possible. I'm using the Rimmel London Multitasker Setting Spray and fanning it dry. Finally, I'm just fixing my curls one last time with my Tangle Teaser that's pink as well. And no makeup look is complete without perfume, and I guarantee Elle would have always been smelling amazing. The Valentino Born in Roma Extra Dose Donna perfume is such a nice girly scent that I always get compliments on, so I highly recommend. But there you have it, the full Elle Woods inspired Legally Blonde makeup look tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, as well as checking out my other tutorials, which will be linked below. Let me know what you'd like to see from me next. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.